Hey guys, Desolate Magic here. We've got more spoilers for Double Masters. In fact, most of them are just leaks from the same douchebag streamer that decided to, I guess, somehow get their hands on packs early and open them on live stream, thinking that nothing will happen to them. Well, spoiler alert, first spoiler of the video for you. This is a tasty one. I've been investigating this just because I'm curious who did it, and if I find out, you know damn well I'm emailing Wizards. And I'm 90% sure I know who it is. 90% isn't enough to put in the video, but let's just say they're in a country that speaks English, has existing like patent and copyright agreements with the US, and they extradite. So they're There's actually one more interesting legal thing that makes them even more completely screwed, but I can't give it away or it would kind of give away who it is. So anyway, watch for that big reveal on social media if it's not already public information, because I'm sure people are as clever or more so than me when it comes to looking into this. I bet Wizards already sent them some summons or whatever. Or the black secret stealth helicopters to like bomb their location, you know, it's one of the two. We all know Wizards has death copters, right? Anyway, a lot of these look like complete ass, so I just went and got an old version of the card, so you're going to see the wrong symbol and potentially the wrong art. I think it's only wrong on one of them, though. So let's start with Executioner's Capsule. It's a 1-drop black artifact, and you can pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it, and destroy target non-black creature. I mean, that's just useful. They definitely see it coming, but like, you can also kind of get inside your opponent's head and make them play differently because they already see this in play. I love stuff like that. It's so fun. Next up, we got Cathodian. So it's a 3/3 artifact creature for 3, and when it dies, you add 3 to your mana pool. So that's kind of time sensitive. It's not the most reliable thing, but it's just a fun, interesting card. Honestly, it really sounds like something you can do an infinite combo with. Next up, we got Clear Shot, another classic here. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So it's a fake force fight. The actual force fight, you take damage, and that's carried over to, like, the combat phase. Like, it doesn't wear off until end of turn. So anytime you can just deal something equivalent to your power without getting touched, way better. And that goes double if you are also boosted by 1/1 till end of turn, and you want to swing with the creature. So this is the way you do green removal. Also, it is insane that this only costs 3. It's only single green, and it's instant speed. The really big thing being instant speed, because not many of these are. As soon as you can unleash this in the middle of combat as part of a +1/+1 ambush plus take out a different blocker or something, it's devastating. Next up, we got Crusader of Odric. Its power and toughness are both asterisk, fine, keep your secrets. But anyway, yeah, it's a 3-drop human soldier, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of creatures you control. This isn't really commonly a monocolored effect. I almost always see it on 2-colored creatures, so this is a damn good card. Next up, Crushing Vines. It's a 3-cost instant. It says choose 1, destroy target creature with flying, or destroy target artifact. There were much better cards than this, but whatever. I mean, they wanted to throw this one in there, obviously, because it's an artifact set. Speaking of that, we've got Darksteel Axe. It's a 1-drop equipment, and it itself is indestructible, but then it only gives equipped creature +2 attack, and then it has equipped 2. So pretty vanilla, but not too bad. Next up, we got Driver of the Dead. It's a 4-cost 3/2 vampire, and when it dies, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yes, mana cost 2 or less, straight from the graveyard into play. Not, oh, just whatever you want, Emrakul, I don't care, whatever. I mean, sometimes they actually give a crap when they design these cards. Next up, we've got Elvish Aberration. Now, fun fact about this card, Elvish Aberration is actually named after every elf deck ever. They're all aberrations. They're all disgusting abominations to nature. If you play an elf tribal deck, you might actually have some sort of mental illness or some unhealthy obsession, or you should just seek help immediately. But in the meantime, this is a 6-cost 4/5 elf mutant, so that actually is an elf in the artwork. And it can tap for 3 green, and it has forest cycling. So you pay 2, discard this card, and then search your library for a forest card, reveal it, and then put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay, as far as elf cards go, pretty weak, but kind of a fun, interesting card. They should have just called this like the Elves versus Phyrexians versus Artifact set or whatever. I'm pretty sure actually the Phyrexians brought the artifacts. But anyway, next we got Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot, classic from Kaladesh. I actually quite like this card. It's a 2-drop, and when it enters battlefield, you draw a card and lose a life, and then if you pay 3, you sack it and draw a card and lose a life. So I mean, when you did that thing that was like Invoke but for artifacts, I think it started with an I actually. Oh yeah, obviously it was I don't remember. Also, it was improvised. But anyway, it was nice to have this in play. I think in this set for draft, you're going to be able to bring it back from your graveyard a couple times and just really get going. But there's a penalty to it. And yeah, cards that give you a lot of cards, you know, they have a penalty and they should be a little bit slower. It makes sense, and it's a well-designed card. They do occasionally make those. Next up, we got Skinwing. It's a 4-drop artifact equipment, living weapon. So basically, when you cast this, you attach it to a 0/0 germ creature token. And then equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has flying. And then it has an equip cost of 6. It makes sense in the context of drafting this set because there's almost no flyers in like the entire set, and the ones that are there are kind of weak. But the really rare ones, a lot of rares and mythics and like good strong flyers that hit hard are, well, like I said, rares and mythics. So if you get out a good strong flying creature and you're going to start pounding them, unopposed in the air with it, you're going to feel like, yeah, I just did something. Not, okay, well, some of them are flying. Yay. So an equip cost of 6 to make anything fly and make it bigger is actually not unreasonable in the context. As far as like just the card goes into vacuum, the card's garbage. Next up, we got Strength of Arms. It's a 1-cost instant in white, which, you always got to have those. And target creature gains +2/+2 until end of turn. I think there's probably like 10 cards that do something similar to this for 1 or 2 mana and instant speed in standard right now, and they're all amazing. And they're all twice as good in draft as they are in constructed. So yeah, do not underestimate this card, especially with it being in the common slot. So if you control an equipment, put a 1/1 white human soldier creature token onto the battlefield. You get a token and a boost at instant speed, potentially for 1 mana. Oh, I like this card. Next up, we got Vedalken Infuser. It's a 4-cost 1/4 Vedalken Wizard, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on target artifact. That is weirdly specific, and it's in the uncommon slot, so good luck getting that to work in a draft environment. Next up, though, we got Heartless Pillage. This is a fun one. It's a 3-cost sorcery speed, obviously, discard card that makes your opponent discard 2 cards, but unlike Mind Rot, it says raid if you attacked with a creature sometime already this turn by the time this resolves, then create a colorless treasure artifact token. So you get free ramp while eliminating their options. This is a damn good card. Very underappreciated when it was in Ixalan, but I played it a ton. I hate discard effects. I think they're extremely, not nice, not friendly to the game, not fun to play against. But the blind ones are nowhere near as detrimental as the I get to see your whole hand ones. And, it really gets annoying when your whole entire deck is just discard. Then that's just crap. I don't think draft is going to hit that, especially with this being an uncommon, so not a problem in this set. Next up, we got Weapon Surge. It's a 1-cost red instant. Target creature you control gets +1 and first strike till end of turn, and then Overload. So if you pay 2 instead of 1, I know, so much higher, you may cast a spell for its Overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. In other words, you boost each creature you control. I preferred Strive, but whatever. Next up, we got Ancestral Blade, because of course they're going to print it in this set. It's a 2-cost white equipment, and when it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then attach this to it. And then equipped creature gets +1/+1, and then equip 1. So kind of overcosted, kind of not great, but it gets a free creature, but then the first thing you kind of want to do is like move it to a better creature. So I never did really like this card. I thought it was kind of weak for what it did. Next up, we got Argivian Restoration, or Argivian, I don't know. I think the place is called Argive, so yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, it's a 4-cost double blue sorcery, so watch that in draft. You always got to watch out for those double and triple costed ones. It's very hard to pull off with no mana fixing, even in 2 colors, let alone 3. But yeah, return target artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield directly. So, like I've stated before, a true resurrection, universal, whatever, blah, there's 5 versions of it all that do the exact same thing. It usually costs 5 black mana. So this costs 4, but it only limits you to artifacts. That's an appropriate logical scale down. Well, until somebody resurrects Sundering Titan with it, then nobody's having a good time. That's why, honestly, anything that says graveyard to battlefield, anything with those words in the card anywhere, should probably be restricted to something, anything, preferably a mana cost or a size or a, I don't know, time constraint that it had to have put into the graveyard that turn, or you lose life equal to its mana cost, or just something to stop people from resurrecting 10 plus cost anything. So next up, one of my all-time favorite walls. Oh yes, we've got Gleaming Barrier. It's a 0/4 for 2 with Defenders, so turn 2, possibly their turn 1, they are not getting past. Combat damage is over, it is absolutely not going to happen, or you're going to reduce it significantly, and when this dies, you create a treasure. That's a win-win-win. It's an early game blocker, and then a mid to late game ramper. Absolutely amazing, fantastic card. So next up, we got Golem Skin Gauntlets. It's a 1-drop with equip 2, and equipped creature gets +1 for each equipment attached to it. So you're really putting all your eggs in one basket, but in this set it might work. In a lot of drafts, I mean, at least in standard, biggest creature wins is not necessarily a foreign concept. So hey, stack them up, why not? At least they're not auras and you lose them when they die. Next up we got Gelatinous Genesis. It's a 1 green plus double X, so X's value is basically double whatever the mana you put into it is. So you pay 11 total, 10 into X, and X equals 5. So you basically have to pay X twice. So put X, XX, green ooze creature tokens onto the battlefield. So their power and toughness and the number of them are equal. So that gets out of control real quick at higher numbers. So this is printed in Rise of the Eldrazi, and it's currently a $2.50 card. Next up we've got Maelstrom Pulse, which as you can see was just an Ultimate Masters. It was also from Alara Reborn, obviously, based on the name. It was in MM1. It was also a box topper in UMA. And I remember it not being an amazing price, and yeah, I think it went up since then, but it's like $2.80. I mean, even the masterpiece of it from Amonkhet is only $25. I distinctly remember this one being the one you did not want to pull in both cases. So anyway, it's a 3-cost sorcery, destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name. So, I mean, it's a good spell. Next up, we've got Ash Barrens. Not a big value reprint, but there's not a ton of these floating around. It was just in Masters 25, though, and the Mystery Booster, but whatever. It's just a simple land, comes in untapped, taps for colorless, and then it has basic land cycling 1. So you can discard this for 1, and then search your library for a basic land and drop it in. So it's kind of like in Evolving Wilds that you pay for, but if you're good with, 1 colorless instead of the color you actually need, like it's late in the game, hey, drop it in. A lot of people have actually never heard of that card, but then again, a lot of people have never heard of Terramorphic Expanse. So that's it for the weekend spoilers. They always get a little bit lighter, but I bet Monday they're going to dump a ton of them on us. It's a shame some douchebag tried to ruin it by live streaming them opening some pack that they shouldn't have, which I'm sure is partially Wizards' fault. Yep, somebody came in and made it all go to crap, as is the norm. So anyway, thanks for watching. The Bulletproof Vest video is coming as soon as I can film the last part and then edit it, so a couple days. Sorry, it got delayed. And I will see you guys next video.